parents mistreat my husband for years, but he buys my family vacation and my dad spits. Oh boy, I cancel. My father's spit hit the floor like a gunshot, silencing the room. I stared at the wet mark on the hardwood, my heart pounding as if it could shatter the tension. My husband, Ethan, stood frozen, his hands still outstretched with the plane tickets he just offered, tickets to a dream vacation for my entire family. For years, my parents had treated Ethan like dirt under their shoes, yet here he was, trying to build a bridge with a gesture so generous it made my chest ache. I should have known my father's pride would burn it down before we could cross it. This wasn't just a vacation gone wrong, it was the final straw in a war I didn't want to fight. My name is Clara, and this is the story of how I chose love over loyalty, and the cost it carried. Ethan and I met 6 years ago at a community book club, where his quiet humor and thoughtful insights drew me in like a moth to a flame. He wasn't flashy, but his kindness radiated in small acts, holding doors, remembering names, offering his jacket when I shivered. My parents, though, saw none of that. To them, Ethan was a nobody, a high school history teacher with no wealth or status to match their vision of my future. My father, a retired lawyer, and my mother, a socialite with a knack for judgment, never forgave me for choosing him over the suitable matches they'd paraded before me. From the start, they made Ethan's life hell. At our engagement party, my father cornered him and sneered. "You'll never be enough for her," my mother whispered to guests that I was settling, her voice dripping with pity. Family dinners became battlegrounds, with my parents nitpicking Ethan's every word, mocking his modest salary, and dismissing his dreams of writing a history book. Yet Ethan endured it all with a grace that humbled me. He'd squeeze my hand under the table, his warm smile saying, "We're in this together." I begged him to push back, to call them out, but he'd just say, "They're your family. Clara, I'll win them over someday." I wanted to believe him, but each slight chipped away at my hope. 2 years into our marriage, my parents' disdain only grew. When Ethan got a small promotion, my father scoffed. "A few extra bucks won't make you a provider." When we bought a modest house, my mother called it charming, with a smirk that screamed disappointment. I tried to mediate, pleading with them to see the man I loved, but their hearts were stone. Ethan, though, never wavered. He'd bring my mother flowers, ask my father about his golf game, and even help with their yard work. Despite their coldness, his patience was a lighthouse in my storm. But I could see the toll it took. His shoulders sagged a little more each time we left their house. Then came the idea of the vacation. Ethan had been saving for months, quietly tucking away every spare dollar from his teaching salary. He wanted to surprise my family with a trip to Hawaii, a place my parents had always dreamed of visiting. "Maybe this will show them I care," he said, his eyes bright with hope. I warned him it might not work, that their pride ran deeper than any gift. But he was determined. "It's not just about them," he said. "It's about us, showing we're bigger than their anger." I loved him so fiercely in that moment. I could have burst. The plan was set: a week in Maui, all expenses paid. For me, Ethan, my parents, and my younger brother, Jake. I pictured us on the beach, laughing, healing, maybe even rebuilding. Ethan spent hours researching resorts, finding one with stunning ocean views and a luau my parents would love. He printed glossy brochures and planned every detail, from snorkeling trips to a sunset cruise. When he presented the idea at Sunday dinner, his voice was steady but nervous, like a man stepping onto thin ice. My parents' reaction was worse than I'd feared. My mother raised an eyebrow, flipping through the brochure as if it were junk mail. "How can you afford this?" she asked, her tone implying he couldn't. My father leaned back, arms crossed, and said, "What's the catch?" "Ethan." Trying to buy our approval, Ethan's face flushed, but he kept his voice calm. "No catch. I just thought it'd be nice for us to make memories together." Jake, always the peacemaker, chimed in. "This looks amazing. Ethan, I'm in." But my father's eyes darkened. He stood, walked to Ethan, and spat on the floor at his feet. "You think you can throw money at us and erase years of disappointment?" he growled. "You're still nothing." The room spun. Ethan's hand dropped, the tickets trembling in his grip. My mother said nothing, her silence louder than any words. Jake looked horrified, but he didn't speak. I felt rage and shame collide in my chest, a wildfire I couldn't contain. "Enough," I shouted, my voice cracking. "You don't get to treat him like this anymore." My father's spit was the line I couldn't cross. I grabbed the tickets from Ethan's hand and tore them in half, the sound ripping through the silence. "The vacation's off," I said, my eyes locked on my father's. "You don't deserve his kindness." Ethan's face was a mix of shock and quiet pride, but I saw the pain in his eyes too. He'd poured his heart into this gesture, and my family had crushed it. We left that night, the drive home heavy with unspoken words. In the days that followed, I wrestled with guilt and anger. Part of me wanted to call my parents, to beg them to apologize. But another part, the louder part, knew they wouldn't. Ethan, ever the optimist, tried to downplay it. "Maybe they just need time," he said. But I could hear the crack in his voice. I couldn't let it go. I wrote my parents a letter, pouring out years of frustration. I told them how their cruelty had hurt not just Ethan, but me. I told them I loved them, but I loved my husband more, and I wouldn't let them tear him down anymore. I mailed it, my hands shaking, knowing it might be the end of us. A week later, Jake showed up at our door. He looked tired, his usual grin gone. "I'm sorry," he said. "I should have said something that night. Dad was wrong. Clara. So was Mom." He told me my parents had read the letter, and while my mother cried, my father refused to budge. "He's stubborn," Jake said, "but I think he's scared. Scared you're slipping away." I hugged him, grateful for his honesty, but my heart still ached. Ethan and I talked late into the night. He admitted how much my parents' rejection stung, but he also said he'd do it all again if it meant showing me he'd never give up on us. His love was an anchor, steady and true, and I knew then that I'd made the right choice all those years ago. Months passed, and my parents' silence grew louder. I heard through Jake that they'd gone to Hawaii on their own, using their savings. It stung, but it also freed me. I realized I'd been carrying their expectations like a weight, and I was done. Ethan and I planned our own trip, not to prove anything, but to celebrate us. We went to a quiet cabin in the mountains, where we hiked, laughed, and dreamed about our future. One night, under a sky full of stars, Ethan took my hand and said, "You're my family, Clara." That's enough. Tears welled in my eyes, not from sadness, but from the truth of it. Family isn't just blood. It's the people who choose you, who fight for you, who see you. Ethan was that for me, and I'd choose him every time. My parents' actions were a wound, but they also taught me something vital. Love isn't owed, it's earned. Ethan earned mine every day, and I'd spend my life earning his. As for my parents, I hope they'll see the man I see in Ethan one day, but I won't wait for them to change. I've canceled their hold on my heart, just like I canceled that vacation. What do you think? Was I right to cut the trip and draw a line? Or should I have given my parents another chance? Share your thoughts. I'd love to hear where you stand on right and wrong in this mess. End.